What's going on, Ambitious Vets? Welcome to episode number 17 of the Ambitious Vet Show with United States Marine veteran turned money smart guy, Matt Sapaula. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Now we're here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made but are now passion-driven. Now as they share their stories, their failures, and their journeys to what it took to get to where they are today, we just hope that this unlocks your secret formulas to living a more impactful, meaningful, and top-performing civilian life. All right, so you veterans that are listening to this that have a huge vision and are getting met with a lot of adversity. I mean, if you hear me share or have listened to previous episodes of this, I really do identify with you guys. When I first got out of the uniform, I was met with huge adversity. I was met with failures back to back to back, getting fired from jobs because I was failure to adapt. But I always held the big vision that I had, guys. Come join our tribe, Veteran Empowerment Transition, where we are really just creating a new breed of transitioning veterans, ones that are resourceful, self-aware, high executors, and really just passion-driven, guys. Really, our end result with that tribe is to bring and incubate thousands of veterans to be just really get out there in the trenches and live a more impactful, fulfilling, and top-performing life out of the uniform. Guys, we have over 530 ambitious vets that we've built organically over the past 12 months. No ads, anything like that. Just building and leading through just providing tons of value, which, that being said, we do 2 weekly lives within that tribe, one-on-one with me, where I'm bringing you guys a passion-driven tip of the week. I also bring in some of the top military influencers out there killing it in business, life, their jobs, whatever they're up to, whatever their passions are, and interview them live where you guys can ask live Q&A, which is obviously repurposed to this as a podcast on iTunes and Stitcher. But guys, we just launched this Ambitious Vet Creed as well, guys, and there's a lot of ambitious vets that are getting their hands on it, guys. You guys can download this on your mobile device. You can print it out and frame it, or you can even put on your laptop, desktop background for you guys to just remind yourselves who you are, which are ambitious vets that get out there and you set the standard in the civilian world. So guys, again, go visit our tribe, Veteran Empowerment Transition, and we'll see you there. Take care. All right, ambitious vets. So today we're going to have Matt Sapaula on the show. He's a U.S. Marine combat veteran, turned financial coach, author, speaker, media personality. He is pretty much the money smart guy. If you just Google him, look him up anywhere online, he will come up. He's been featured on Fox Business, the New York Times, WGN 9 News, and pretty much every other Chicago outlet out there. He mentors those to acquire confidence, mindset, and skill sets to win at the money game. Guys, we recorded this back live inside the tribe February 3rd. Right before that, live, actually, him and his wife announced that they became millionaires within their company, which they co-founded with the famous Patrick Bet-David of PHP Agency, which has one of the most viewed motivational entrepreneur videos called The Life of an Entrepreneur in 90 Seconds that right now, if you go to YouTube, has over 3 million views, guys. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the trenches with money smart guy, Matt Sapaula. Let's get it.
Matt, you there, brother?
Devil Dog, man. Great to be on your show. Ambitious Vets Unite.
United we rise, together we succeed, brother.
Right.
I love it, man. Well, welcome to the show, man. So if you could go ahead and fill the gaps of that introduction, tell us a little bit more about who you are outside of just being this highly driven, passionate driven warrior, man. And tell us a little bit more about your personal life, brother.
No problem, brother. Listen, I was in the Marine Corps. About my 7th year in the Marine Corps, I found myself in a situation where I was going through a divorce, right? Because the Marine Corps can't let you go unless you go through a divorce. You haven't had a full Marine Corps experience yet. So I was going through that situation. And next thing you know, I had custody of my kids, Chris. I had custody of my kids. And, sadly, a lot of a lot of our military personnel, our brothers and sisters, get married so early in their lives unnecessarily And I wish I had proper counsel when it came to investing and having the right relationships in your life. So if you're watching this right now, you're in vicious bet, you're in the military, my suggestion, stay single for a minute and hold off, because a lot of our military brothers and sisters get married too soon. They're still trying to find themselves. And that's the situation I found myself in. Make a long story short, I needed to find something where I can have two incomes, especially coming out of Southern California, where I can still be a single father of my kids and being able to drop off my kids, pick them up, do things that daddies do, evenings and weekends. And I couldn't find that with very many different companies. So I stumbled across, and I got recruited by a financial services company and said, listen, you can possibly do well in the insurance industry. I said, no, I know nothing about insurance. I know about SGLI, right? I know about filling out my will before we go into a combat zone. That's as far as it goes. Says, no. We do more than just that. We help people with money. It's understanding the rules of the money game. This is the reason why people get richer. And I'm like, really? Do you like money? I'm like, yes. Do you like a lot of money? I said, absolutely. Well, do you know the rules? Says, I know how to make money. No, those aren't the rules. Anybody can make money, but do you know the rules of the money game? I said, no. That's why you need to get involved in our industry. So, make a long story short, fast forward. I was a single father for 12 years, but had it not been for this career, this industry, in my second, third year of this career as a licensed agent, during that time when I was an independent advisor, insurance agent, I made six figures in my second, third year in the business, never looked back. And make a long story short, I took a career in the media for two seasons with TD Ameritrade and MSN Money. I did a reality show called The Invested Life. And after that, I got recruited by a company called Transamerica, and I became a recruiter, builder, coach, mentor. And since then, I got recruited into a firm called PHP Agency, where I'm at today, and I'm a co-owner. And in that process, found the love of my life, found my wife. She has a kid. We're a blended family together. We're not perfect, but we're perfected along the way.
That is awesome. Yeah, I was telling you before this, man, when just watching your guys' live, making the big announcement for having this milestone inside of your guys' career. And you guys can just tell you guys gel really well, man. She is your rock to your ambition, man. And she actually fills those gaps, brothers. So yeah, man, accomplishing a lot very quickly. It sounds like you didn't just stop momentum, and you were able to transition and get right into the flow of actually being a high achiever out of the uniform. So how would you describe that, man? Because you served 8 years in the Marine Corps, didn't you?
Yep, 8 years.
8 years in the Marine Corps. What skill sets, man, what do you think you applied fresh out the uniform that allowed you to create that amount of success that quickly out of the uniform, brother?
I think I was ambitious because remember those Marine of the Quarter boards? The sergeant of the quarter, NCO of the quarter. And I said, what do those boards mean? What does that mean? Well, they put your picture in a frame in headquarters, and you get meritoriously promoted to the next rank. And so advancement was always something that intrigued me, because I didn't want to wait, time and service to get promoted to corporal or sergeant. I said, if I can control this by putting myself out there, let me do it. And the first few times, I failed. I didn't know my knowledge. I didn't know how to do drill. I didn't do a lot of things. Guess what happened? I sought mentorship from a gunnery sergeant who wasn't even part of my unit. And I went to him. I said, can you teach me? Can you coach me? You're a former DI. You're a former drill instructor. And when we're aboard a ship, we're on the USS Tripoli going into Somalia. After we just got doing our stuff, I'd spend time with him. Again, not an NCO or a staff sergeant in my unit, but in another unit. And he coached me, mentored me. And that's how I realized, man, I'm probably fit for being an entrepreneur. And I took that habit of taking control and advancing myself, not waiting for the government, not waiting for bureaucracy. Let me take control. And it's worked out for me ever since.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I was listening to your Facebook Live yesterday with your wife, going back to that said that you tried to get into a career, and it was a time where you were getting told what to do, when to do it. And you were just like, hey man, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think the problem solving skills that you naturally had as a Marine allowed you to actually get out there, find problems quicker, and how to solve them with velocity. Right.
Yep. Because, Marines, we just don't have one MOS. We always have collateral duties.
Right.
And so we pride ourselves. What's your primary MOS? What's your secondary MOS? What's your collateral duties when you have a job? And we always pride ourselves in just not acting like a corporal. As soon as you got promoted to corporal, it's because you're already acting like a corporal as a lance corporal. When you were a sergeant, you weren't just acting like a sergeant when you got to sergeant. You were acting like a sergeant when you were a corporal. So I think the Marine Corps said, if you're just going to act as if you're the next rank, you're the next man up by taking that position, without being pinned the position, that is a great attribute to becoming an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. 100% agree, man. So guys, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys have any questions for the Money Smart guy here or myself, go ahead and drop those in. If you're getting golden grenades, if you're getting value, go ahead and comment those below. We got Sean Douglas that says, hey, badasses. We got Cornelius Maxwell saying managing money is a game of leveraging assets, which is pretty awesome.
Yep.
So, brother, I want to dig into, what was your bigged failure whenever you got out of the uniform, man? And what did you learn from it?
I think my greatest failure was thinking I can do everything myself. Thinking that I had to be the smartest guy in the room all the time. I had a chip on my shoulder. I attempted going back to college, took my GI Bill, went to DePaul downtown to get my financial planner certification. I did that for 2 years, didn't finish the third year, simply because the kids that were younger than me were so much smarter than me. And it kind of ticked me off. But at the same time, I was making more money, not only than any of them, but my college professor. So I said, you know what, let me just, and he also admitted to me, I'm a CPA for 20 years and an adjunct professor, you're making more money than me, simply because I figured out this industry, this business, by leveraging assets, which is ourselves, greatest investment is you. And when I started my own company, you've heard of the Robert Kiyosaki, the cash flow quadrant, right?
Yes, sure. Oh yeah.
Right. So I was stuck being self-employed for 12 years. I think that was my greatest mistake, thinking that I had to be the smartest guy. I had to do everything. I had to push all the buttons versus building people up like I did in the Marine Corps. How come I didn't transition that into my civilian life? Maybe because I didn't trust civilians. Maybe I only trusted my Marine Corps brothers or military brothers. Because right now, one of my business partners, Richard Love, 21-year Army first sergeant. There's something when you're overseas and deployed and put on the uniform that we trust with one another, regardless if you're white, black, brown, yellow. It's just something about serving in the uniform that we have this inherent trust with one another given. And once it's broken, you never trust them again.
Integrity, man. It's the foundation for everything. Integrity is huge, brother. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So, I mean, you say you found this passion, you found how to be successful in this business. What led you to the financial service? How do you find that purpose? How did you find that individuality? Because I saw that you went and utilized your GI Bill. You got your financial education, right?
Yep.
And stuff like that. And you took actions, you became formally educated, but more importantly, you became informally educated. I saw that you have tons of high level mentors that guide you and pour into you on a daily basis, man. And you're one of the most coachable millionaires that I've ever met in my life, man. And brother, I mean, what would you attribute to you finding that purpose, that individuality, and being as consistent as you have been for so long?
I came into this industry literally flat broke. And 1996, I filed bankruptcy in Orange County, California, because a corporal told me I can get rid of my bills by seeing an attorney down the street, pay her $500 and your bills would disappear. I'm like, that sounds like a great deal. But never explained to me, nor did the lawyer explain to me what I was doing with my credit score. And so 99, I said, you know what? There's a lot of Marines that are being left. Just like we're going off to a war with a knife. Right? We wouldn't do that. And so that's what we're doing financially. And so I said, you know what? We need to fix this. And I entered the financial services industry completely flat broke, but I was willing to learn the rules of the money game. Here, the irony is for 12 years, I was selling insurance and mutual funds for my first 4 or 5 years as a licensed advisor and then licensed insurance agent from 2002 going to 2010. But here I am talking to people about money because I was coming from a hurt position. I was in pain. And when I looked at clients, I looked at them like they were my family member. I looked at that like it was my money. And listen, let me just tell you the God honest truth about where you're going right now. You think what you're doing is right, but this is where the decision is going to land you 6 months from now, a year from now. And because I was surrounding myself with people who had wealth, people who had money, people who were making $100,000 a year, making it look like minimum wage, I started elevating my game, right? And having weird, different conversations with them. Like if I'm going to buy a car, I'm not asking how much the gas mileage is or how much the car insurance is. If I'm buying a $100,000 car, then I shouldn't be worried about those two things. So if I'm worried about those two things, that means I'm not having those purchases in my life.
Right.
So I had to elevate my game overall, and the passion of being able to say, look at my kids and look at them and say, Daddy is fighting for you still. He's setting an example for you that you could be proud, because kids remember not what you say, they remember what you do. And my kids will always forever remember, Dad's always been in the grind, always been in the hustle, fighting for his dreams, not anybody else's.
I love that, brother. That's amazing. That's passion driven. And it sounds like you just led with opportunity. You saw an open door and you chased it with all out massive action. And I love that. I love that. So, brother, I mean, with that being said, I mean, how did you find structure? How did you find rhythm? How did you find traction out of the uniform? Okay. So like getting out of the uniform, obviously routines, rituals, and habits acquire to long-term compounded success. What would you say for guys that are just getting out, have a startup, trying to, make some money, or just trying to make it work? I mean, that are on that breaking point or anything like that, man. What would you acquire to creating traction and real structure and routines out of the uniform, brother?
So here's my notes. Here's my notes. I don't know if you see that. Was that year 2000?
2005.
2005.
Yep.
So these are mine from 2005. I decided to get my head out of my to invest in a coach, to invest in a consultant, to invest in someone that's been there, done that, right? Because when you're self-employed, you're on an island by yourself. This world of entrepreneurship is kind of weird, especially you have to travel through the valley of self-employment, working for yourself, because you're your own boss and you don't know, you're your own standard. And if you're your own standard, kind of like in the Marine Corps, now if we're out of uniform, we look at each other, we square each other away, and so we fix each other's ribbons, badges, covers, whatever. When you're self-employed, you've got nobody like that around you. So that course I just shared with you was a coach that trained me for $1,000 a month, investing in me to help me connect the dots that I had out there. And I had to fly to him in LA, put myself up in a hotel and put myself in an airplane. So that investment since 2005, I remember sitting down with the coach. He was a best-selling author. And he invited me to his office in Salt Lake City for sit with him for one day amongst 30 other guys like me. It's $8,000 a day. And then he pitched us on the second day that, man, tomorrow's even going to be better. Awesome. We're looking forward to it. Well, wonderful. We'll just slide your credit card again for another $8,000.
Oh, man.
But you know what it did to me, Chris? It accelerated my learning curve and it collapsed time frames for me. And so I think today, with so much access to information, it's like if you want to find out how to do something right now, it's all on the internet. We don't lack information. What we lack in our lives is leadership. And if you find somebody to lead you and guide you that still has tangible results and they're still in the trenches, you got yourself a great mentor. Pay them whatever you got to do just to be around them.
Oh, my gosh. Whew, that was good, man. I need to hear that. And I know there's a couple people that are watching it right now. One being one of my best friends, Emmanuel Jocks, is on here right now, man. I just want to kind of share his story, and I want you to kind of drop some wisdom for him right now. He was actually making close to $10K a month with WFG down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right? And he actually just recently walked away from that company, started an LLC, moved up to North Carolina because a lot of corporations are moving over there. So he's trying to take advantage of the influx of businesses and networking to be done there. And his major thing is kind of what you say you help guys that are getting out of the uniform do, man, which is help build confidence, the mindset to actually win the money game. And he found out that WFG was everyone else is getting paid more than the lot of energy that he was getting. And he was allocating a lot of his revenue to other places. So for someone like that was making great money, built a huge team in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and is a great leader, Marine. And now I was talking to him yesterday around just feeling kind of defeated. What would be a message that you would speak to somebody like that that's kind of like in the transition, has won a lot, but kind of down on himself, for someone like yourself that drives people's mindsets and has them acquire the tools to win the money game? Yep.
Well, I would say bottom line, and by the kudos to you, by the way, I was at World Financial Group Transamerica for 3 years, from 2011 to 2014. Good company. There's a lot of good people out there. And you're right. Unless you find the right conversation, unless you have ownership of your business, any situation that you're in, I always like having ownership. Right. And I realized there at WFG, I didn't have ownership. Look at Section 2B of the contract. Everything is the asset of the company.
Yep.
And so I would say, listen, money and being in competition, driving revenue solves a lot of problems. So find out whatever that transition product or company or service that you're providing and get focused in on selling that and making that work. Because when the revenue starts coming in, it starts to soothe a lot of the problems, get your head above water. You can start breathing again, and you can start seeing what direction you got to go into. But if you're constantly drowning in financial problems because you're not selling enough, because you're not making enough money, you'll always be in this situation and you're going to choke yourself out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So whatever decision or reason you did because you left WFG, it being a good company, I didn't say a great company, but being a good company, make it your transition great. Make your situation great. It's up to you. You did something on your own, and you can do something big and special out there. And I give you encouragement, and maybe we can reach out and we can have a conversation. By the way, every Friday on Red Friday, all I do is just call veterans. So that's just part of my giving back to the veteran community. Every Friday on Red Friday, I'm in my hoodie because it's cold here in Chicago. I've got my red gear on. I'm just calling veterans to encourage them in the next transition.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And how can people get more access to those calls, man? If say they just wanted you to kind of deposit some golden grenades into them and stuff like that, how can they get
for free? Yeah. Follow my Facebook page at Money Smart Guy, Instagram, Money Smart Guy. Hit me up on Snapchat, Money Smart Guy, IG. Everywhere, Money Smart Guy. The reason why I translated Money Smart Guy because people can't spell Sapaula or repeat it. You did pretty well there, Chris.
I did all right. Yeah. I heard you say it yesterday, and I heard your wife repeat it, so I got good listening skills, man.
And you were doing intel, you're doing recon too, man. Look at you.
Hey, man, when you're around someone that makes 10 times of what you make, you gotta do your homework, man. you know, I was really looking forward to this, man. So, anyways, brother, I mean, here's the thing: is I want you to drop in 3 golden grenades, brother. I want you to drop in 3 golden grenades to immediately impact an ambitious vet's life right now. Primarily veteran empowerment transition is we have sharks here. We have people that own multi-million-dollar PR firms. We have guys that are just getting out of the uniform inside this tribe. And there's going to be other people that see this. Obviously, at any stage, what would be 3 golden grenades that you'd want to drop in here to totally blow this up that could make immediate impact in their momentum, their increase in success in life?
Very quickly, I was having this conversation with my mentor, who's a CEO and founder of PHP Agency, who's also an Army veteran, Humvee mechanic, and it's really eliminating 3 toxic behaviors. You know, when we're in the crap, right? We got gear, we got a mop gear, we got a gas mask to protect us from being in a toxic environment that may obviously kill us. And I think as an entrepreneur, 3 toxic behaviors that many people in transition make that keeps them from getting what they want. Number 1, they blame people. So stop blaming people. Stop blaming the Marine Corps. Stop blaming your former unit. Stop blaming your former NCO. Stop blaming your former captain, bad fit rep. Stop blaming. Because when you're blaming, you're pointing a finger. There's 3 others pointing back at you. Okay? Because, Jocko Willink just wrote a book called Extreme Ownership.
Great book.
Whatever goes on in your life, you got to take ownership and responsibility, good and bad. Not just the good and the bad. When I went through the divorce, went through bankruptcy, went through some of the bad things in my life, I took responsibility of my situation. I wasn't out blaming anybody. What can I do? Because if I blame other people, then I'm allowing them to control me, the situation to control me. But if I take ownership, I control it, and I can do something about it.
Right.
The second thing, I got to get rid of self-pity. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. You know, I was just in the Marine Corps. I should have been in the Air Force because we got better benefits. You know, that's self-pity, right? Man, going out in the desert, the Air Force is in a hotel, and I'm in Tent City. Well, you enlisted in the Marine Corps. What did you expect? You know, right? So get rid of self-pity. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I'm not in fit. I'm not in shape. By the way, there's people all day long that drop comments, like haters drop comments on my deal. They say, "Hey, Matt, you look like The Rock if you didn't work out." I find humor in that. Yeah. I don't allow pity. I feel empathy for people that have to go out and hate on you, you know?
Right.
And so don't feel any self-pity. And as you continue to grow in your brand, in your social media reach, there's going to be people that's going to try to slow you down too as well. But that's their self-defeating behavior, not yours. The third thing is don't be in a position of helplessness. Don't feel like you're helpless. Listen, man, you're a veteran. You're a devil dog. You're a soldier. You're an airman. You're a sailor. You did more in those 4, 6, 8, 20, 30 years than most people will do in 10, 20, their whole entire lifetime. Got a whole amount of life experiences, and you got more than you think you have. You're not bad as you think you are. And at the same time, you're not as good as you think you are either, right? And the more you pay it forward, the more you give, ironically, and weirdly as it sounds, the more you receive in a weird, intrinsic, intangible way.
Yeah, 100%, man. I love all three of those, man. And one thing that I've learned about haters, if they're giving you any kind of attention, you're doing something, right? It's when there's no haters doing anything, you're not doing anything. You're stand still, man. You know what I mean? So to have haters, you got to be actually doing something that's triggering insecurity inside of them, right? Because they're too pissed off or their ego's getting hit too much that they're just not, they don't have the balls. We're a bunch of veterans here. They don't have the balls or the confidence to actually pursue what they truly, truly want to be doing. So of course they're going to hate and try to limit you. So I love that as far as breaking the lid, not being hopeless, and just really going out there and just taking massive action. I think that's great wisdom, brother. So now I want to touch base on PHP Agency, man, and what you guys are actually doing with this, what's your vision on it, and kind of what are you doing specifically for veterans with this work you're doing, man?
So PHP Agency was started in the middle of a recession, same year as Uber, same year as Airbnb. In the midst of everything, hey guys, let's start a business.
Yeah.
So our CEO, Patrick Bet-David, who was also with Transamerican World Financial Group, left in 2009. In October, started PHP Agency. Why? Because he wanted ownership. He wanted his guys to have ownership. He wanted his guys to actually building an agency that they can call themselves. And make a long story short, there's a whole lot of riffraff that was going on when PHP Agency started. Talk about haters, and a lot of those guys tried slowing us down, but we fought through it. And I got introduced to Patrick through my sister, who was the director of ministry for Pastor Dudley Rutherford, who was on the board of PHP Agency. He says, man, you need to meet the Iranian version of you, Matt. What are you talking about? Over 6'4". And by the way, I'm a Filipino 6'4". It's kind of weird, but he's over 6'4", military, and in finance. He tells Patrick the same thing. Over 6'4", Filipino, and in finance, military. And so, make a long story short, we connected via Facebook. And in January 2015, years later, he followed up with me. I followed up with him. We decided, let's get together. Let's do something big and special. I wanted a brand. I wanted a co-brand with this company, which is the Money Smart movement and the Money Smart guy within this company. And I told him I want to build a company within a company. He says, no problem. I want you to do that. And he's allowed me a lot of freedom and flexibility, access to his executive team. I mean, I have a president, COO, CFO, compliance officer, commissions that I have access to help build my company, build my national presence, which I didn't have to hire on my dime. And in addition to me, my guys have access to it too as well. So it's just not limited to me. So I'm just paying it forward and passing it on. And PHP Agency started with 60 guys. Today, we have a little over 5,500 licensed agents from coast to coast.
Wow. We
just moved into Puerto Rico 2 weeks ago, led by Rodolfo and Ceci Vargas, our friends out of El Salvador, based out of Houston, Texas. And these guys, by the way, they were with World Financial Group and Trans as well. And they completely left that, and they're partnered together with us because they want ownership of their business. And in August of 2017, Oscar De La Hoya says, man, I love what you guys are doing. And he decided to invest $10 million into our company.
Wow. And
believe it or not, in August, we got Kevin Hart coming to our national convention.
Come on. Come on.
So
you ever go night-night? You ever go night-night?
It's about to go down.
That is awesome. And he's never gone to, I don't think, any convention of any sort in your industry. So that speaks volumes.
Period. He's never done a corporate event.
Right.
Ever. Not for Microsoft, not for Google, not for GM. PHP Agency is his first go around, man. So, we're attracting a lot of eyeballs, and because we're helping educate. I mean, PHP Agency is an insurance firm providing retirement services and life insurance to an underserved, overlooked demographic, which is the multicultural middle class.
Mm-hmm.
And so, our industry is contracting in terms of licensed agents, and we're going opposite, man. We're expanding because the distribution channels in our industry has greatly changed. I mean, there's no such thing as a MetLife agent anymore. They sold all their agents to Mass Mutual. So our industry is contracting more to an independent distribution model versus having agents and advisors that are on salary and benefits.
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. So, I mean, with that being said, I mean, what specifically do you think ambitious veterans, what do you think the opportunity is for them with this agency? And I want to go back to what you said about around actually creating a company within PHP Agency. And Emmanuel Jocks, actually, the brother I told you I wanted you to kind of speak to, said, great stuff. I literally, I challenge you, man, to reach out to this man right after this interview. I want you guys to have a conversation. If it's next Friday during his power hour with vets or whatever, I want you to connect with this man because he's been in the industry for over 5 years. He's very well versed, built great teams, which military guys are great at. And I really want you to connect with Matt here, E-Man. I'm going to hold you accountable to that, brother, because I want you to be going out there and doing what you do best, which is build teams, make a difference, and be surrounded with somebody that has a vision for your life independently.
Yeah, and Iman, we have nobody in North Carolina. Just to let you know, maybe not pioneer territory.
It's true. So what do you think this opportunity is for ambitious vets with PHP Agency right now?
I think number one, if you're looking for a stab in the entrepreneur world, it's a great industry to get involved in simply because number one, it's a very wealthy industry. I mean, insurance goes back 2,000 plus years. I mean, back in the day, Roman soldiers got paid annuities. They got paid what they call annuitatum, which means you do time in the military, they pay a pension for the rest of your life, right? So insurance has been around for thousands of years. So it's a very old and very wealthy industry, but at the same time, very forgotten industry. And then number two, it doesn't take a lot of money to get started in this industry. For less than $400 or $500, depending on your state, you got to get licensed. And so if you're a vet out there that doesn't have any capital, doesn't want to charge $10,000, $15,000 on a franchise that that doesn't work out, or put your money, like NCO to train me, put 10 grand into a coffee shop, a year later shut down, but he lost his 10 grand because he didn't know how to run a coffee shop. So if you're looking to get involved in an industry that's wealthy, that you can make a lot of money in, number one. Number two, if you're looking to get involved in an industry or a business that doesn't require a lot of capital, because later for the first 6 years, Chris, I was running my business out of my house, my 1-bedroom apartment, at a Starbucks, at a Denny's, at an IHOP. I called IHOP I Hope.
Oh, man.
I hope to close a client today. Rooty Tooty, fresh and fruity, right?
Gosh, that's being in the trenches, brother. That's in the trenches.
Yeah. And number three, it teaches you sales. And I think if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you got to learn sales.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the number one skill because I was in network marketing for 3 years. And I think that's what taught me the underground guerrilla marketing skills of how to network, how to build through networks of people, how to create opportunity through networks and stuff like that. And how do you provide value first and expect later? All these business philosophies that we don't really think about that can be taught at a very low price and be surrounded by people like yourself that are still in the trenches grinding. I mean, like I said, I studied you before this interview and you are in the trenches. I mean, you're making 7 figures, but you're still like literally in the trenches, like making sure that every single person's dream, vision, and all that is realized. And I think that's what true leadership is someone that makes it, but is always willing to go back in and deposit into other people's dreams and visions and allow them to grow and allow them to duplicate it. Like your wife was saying so brilliantly last night, man. She's a sharp woman, man.
I had to marry up, man. That's why you got to learn sales. Therefore, you're going to learn how to close a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's awesome, brother. So how can people find out more about you, man? How can they get connected to the Money Smart Guy and get connected to PHP Agency?
Yeah, so everywhere on social media, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, website, Money Smart Guy. There's things that I share on Instagram that don't show in other social media. So therefore, there's always something different in all my different social media profiles. So it's not all the same things. There's certain things I comment on in my blog. There's certain things I do on Facebook Live that's different than my YouTube channel. So there's always something new, fresh, and dynamic when it comes to my different social media profiles. So Money Smart Guy on social media and moneysmartguy.com for my website.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And guys, for the ambitious vets who are watching this now, we'll be watching it later. I strongly suggest that you reach out to Matt here. This guy, I met him at the Military Influencer Conference about like 6-7 months ago. This guy is a guy that just naturally attracts people, and he's a professional connector. So even if it's not you wanting to get into the financial world, reach out to this guy. He's proven testament that you can get out of the uniform and make 7 figures, guys, in a very short time. He made 7 figures 3 years inside of this company. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. So it's like, guys, if you wouldn't be willing to take advantage of that time on Friday, what are you going to take advantage of? Are you going to go have happy hour? Or are you going to spend 15 minutes, 10 minutes to talk to a millionaire mentor like Matt here, guys. I challenge each and every one of you guys to reach out to him, connect with him, see what opportunity he can open up for your life. And Matt, man, back to you, brother. I just appreciate who you are, man. And I said this in a previous interview, but it's just there for me to say right now because I'm in the moment thinker, man. And I just, bro, you broke the 4-minute mile for all of us, man. And I thank you. I thank you for breaking the 4-minute mile for us, Marines, for one, but every branch of service, and getting out there and showing us that we're not broken, right? Think about how much things were broken, but really we can get out there and actually provide tremendous amount of value to the marketplace if we just provide the same amount of skill sets and the mindset that we had in the military. So thank you for joining us today, man. And thanks for just blowing it up.
Yeah. Chris, that's the thing too, man. And just one last thought, because we come into business, if you're focused on purpose, you're focused on going forward in your life, which entrepreneurship and free enterprise and capitalism allowed me to do. Instead of focusing on what we went through, instead of focusing on a rear view mirror, we're focused now on a windshield, which is bigger anyway. And that's the direction that we're going. You'll find out that you're going to find out the next best version of you. You're going to find out there's more inside of you than what you thought. And that the warrior that's inside of you, the guy that was fighting for freedom, now you're fighting for your family. Now you're fighting for the people. Now you're fighting for the people and the family, really things that matter. And I just want to encourage you guys, go out there and do it. Take a stab at it. You've been through a lot worse, man. Been through a lot worse. The business world is easy, man, and needs more Marines. It needs more veterans. The entrepreneur world needs more people to work and think and act and provide like us. So go out there and take a stab at it, guys. And wishing you the best and look forward to connect with you later on down the road. Chris, I appreciate you for having this podcast, man, showing leadership, of showing that veterans can go out there. Because I was telling you before we went live, I wish I had something like this to listen to and to watch before I get out. Because it would accelerate. Who knows where I'd be if I was listening to Ambitious Vets a year before I got out the military. So appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for making the time for us, brother.
You got it, Double Dog.
You got it.
All right, Ambitious Vets. I hope you enjoyed episode number 17 with Matt Sapaula. Guys, this was a big one. A lot of golden grenades. One of the biggest takeaways, as always, I'm going to dive in here, is when he started talking about how you have to lead with pain and how you have to take 100% ownership of your life. And it's not until you do that you start creating a profitable passion, right? So, guys, let's dive into leading with your pain. Guys, I've been doing sales for the past 5.5 years. That is the fundamental skill set and a way I've made my money over the past 5.5 years is getting good at persuading and influencing people. One thing that I know when I train my sales team now at the organization I work at is you got to lead with the pain with the consumer that we're talking to, right? Because people will do more to relieve pain than gain pleasure, right? Same thing in your life. If you lead with pain, you gain wisdom. See, when you talk to some of the top thought leaders, the people that influence you right now, you'll find that they have weight to their words and they're sharing wisdom and experiences from their pains, guys. That's how you actually start evolving and developing. And it isn't until you actually start taking ownership of those pains. Not blaming the world, not blaming your boss, not blaming your spouse, your friends, your circumstances and stuff like that. And you actually start taking 100% ownership of your life, becoming resourceful, developing skill sets, investing in your mind, spirit, and your non-tangibles and tangible skill sets that you will actually start developing yourself. And I mean, who knows? Maybe in the next 3 to 4 years, you'll become a millionaire just like Matt Sapaula. That's his message here. That's the biggest thing I took away is to lead with your pains, take 100% ownership of your life. But guys, with that being said, go ahead and go rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. As you do that, we get seen by more veterans, which is just more of an impact for us to make, which drives more traffic to our Veteran Empowerment Transition Tribe, which has you to have more people to connect with and create more opportunity with, right? So guys, would love some feedback as well. Email me at choffman, that's 2 F's and 2 N's, at vettradingcoaching.com. That is the best way to email me. Let me know what you didn't like, what you like, and what you may like me to add to this. It's really, we live and breathe off of your feedback here. Guys, and last thing, we already know that you're warrior made, but to become passion driven, get out there and just execute one golden grenade. Let's go get it.